Now, you mentioned that no department is really beyond approach. So at some point in the next decade, you pretty much audit all the departments. I mean, do you have a cycle where, 5 years from now you'll audit the police department again, or is this just on a need per basis?
I think as needs arise, we'll be looking at each department and specifically targeting those departments maybe that have the highest risk or the greatest need for, or that's on the public's radar. That the public safety is important to the public infrastructure is important to the public, so I'm trying to do my best at listening to the public, what's important to them, how can we better serve them, and focusing our attention on those specific areas.
Do you get into specifics such as like overtime, for example? There's a tremendous amount of money paid in overtime. Well, as laymen's, we don't know if that's justified or not. You get into the audit on whether or not the amount of overtime may or may not be justified? Are you that specific?
Yes, we are. In our police audit, we did look at overtime. We made recommendations on how the police department can contain that overtime by utilizing just basically, not to go through all of the specifics, but basically making recommendations to allow more flexibility in their staffing so they're not constantly having to call back for overtime, but taking maybe some officers from investigations and pulling those officers in non-patrol out on patrol so they don't have to call back and then pay overtime. So yes, we specifically did look at containing overtime.
Now, you mentioned the word independent several times in this interview, and obviously you're independent of anyone other than voters. But let's talk about some core values that you might feel in this job. You've been on the job 15 months. Have you established like some code of conduct or some core values that are really, really important to you?
Thank you. Yes, I have. And that was really my campaign platform that I based it on. It really wasn't just a campaign platform. It's something that means a lot to me, that I really stand for, and that I am planning, that I am implementing, doing my best to implement. And those core values, as you mentioned, first, independence. We talked about the importance of that. The second, I refer to these, by the way, as sort of my 6 N's. And the first is independence, and the second is information. It's important to me as city auditor that I provide the taxpayers with information on how their tax dollars are being spent, and assure them that we're watching out for them and trying to stretch their dollars as far as possible. The third is investigations. We do investigate fraud, waste, and abuse. Put another plug quickly in for our fraud hotline. Please call. We just have no tolerance for that kind of behavior within city government. So we do investigate fraud. The fourth is initiative. We're taking the initiative to find revenues that the city deserves, that needs to collect to maximize its revenues.
Like the oil tax.
Like the oil tax, right. The fifth is innovation. To be innovative, not just to do the same old, but think outside the box. How can we better serve the citizens? How can we do this more efficiently? How can we do this more cost effectively? Let's, put our heads together and be innovative. Let's share ideas. Let's come together and kind of think outside the box a little bit. And I mean, it works in private business, as you know, so let's bring it to government. And the sixth is really to promote integrity and honesty in government, so the citizens can have that level of trust in their government, that we are here for them, to serve them, and to be their leaders. So. Well,
that's great. 6 I's.
Yes.
There you have it, 6 I's. Did you remember all those I's? Were you writing those down? Of course, those will apply to running a business or running a city department. How many in your staff now for the whole city auditor's department?
We have 17, and we have 1 volunteer. We appreciate very much. And Our budget is for 18, and so I have a little flexibility there. But I'm just really pleased to report that we have an outstanding staff, professionals who care about the city, who are committed and devoted to public service, that are here for the right reasons. I can't tell you just how fortunate I feel to be a part of this great team of professionals I have in the auditor's office, and I think the public would be very pleased to know that there's just outstanding individuals in our office ready and stand ready to serve them.
Well, there's no doubt that you have a lot of passion for what you do. It just creeps out of you big time. Let's talk a little bit about fun. What is the one thing that you've been in office that you've had fun doing? What's the one thing that you've enjoyed the most?
I think one thing I've enjoyed the most is getting out in the public and meeting people. You know, I've been an auditor and accountant for 12 years and tended to be, you know, kind of behind the scenes.
So you've been counting beans behind the scenes for a long time, right?
That's right, you know, tied to my desk. And now I've had this opportunity to be out and about in the public and meeting people, and that has been the most fun, and just some wonderful people within the city that have committed to the city, that are also passionate about the city, that give so much of their time, their means, their talent, their resources. I'm inspired by so many. You know, I see you out there and doing great works among the city as well. So that's probably been the most fun, is just meeting so many really great people.
Now, the city auditor has no term limits, right?
That's right.
So as long as the people keep electing you, you can stay here, and you're pretty young, so you could be here for a few years.
I would love it.
Yeah, that would be nice, huh?
That'd be great.
So obviously, you're the first woman auditor?
You know, I am the second.
Second?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, we did a little research history into our auditor's office and found that the 5th elected city auditor in the city of Long Beach was a woman by the name of Myrtle Gunzel, and she was elected in 1919.
Wow.
You know, at a time when most women throughout the country couldn't vote.
That must have been very unique.
Yes, really unique back then. And she was elected in 1919. She served until 1951. So she served 32 years.
She must have served the longest?
Yes, she has. She was the deputy city auditor before that, so she had served the city of Long Beach 36 years.
So that's a record you have to break, Laura?
Well, yeah, I guess so. But she's a marvelous woman. We've done a little research on her, and she's just was completely committed and dedicated to the city. And
so how many auditors have there been in the cities? Have you got that list?
Yes, I do have the list, and I am the 10th.
Oh, that's not too many.
Right.
You've had a lot more city managers and probably a lot more city attorneys. And of course, we're one of the few cities that has our own city attorney and our own city auditor.
That's right.
And
yes.
our own city prosecutor.
That's right.
In fact, that's very rare, isn't it?
Yes,
to have
it is.
all three of those. And you're all up for election 2010.
That's right. Yes,
and so those three offices are all independent, with none of them actually reporting to the city council.
That's right.
But although you make lots of presentations to the city council.
Yes, we do, because that's really a great public forum for the people to see what we are doing. And that's another one of my goals that I had initially, was to be out to communicate better with the public on what we do, how we can serve them, because as you know, a lot of people really don't know what the city auditor does. I found that out when I was running for office. I'd knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm Laura Dowd, I'm running for city auditor," and they'd say, "You're running for city what?" You know, and so I'd say, "Well, city auditor," and then you'd see their eyes kind of glaze over, and be, and so I really had to come up with a message that would mean something to people and that they would understand. So, so I'm grateful, and it's been a great first 15 months. I'm just really excited about the future of the auditor's office, and I'm here to serve the public. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Laura Dowd, our city auditor, for being with us. I hope you know a lot more about what the city auditor does. Thank you for joining us on Strictly Business. We hope to see you soon. Good night.